Happy spring, North Central Washington. We have made it through another winter. The vernal equinox came our way at 2:01 in the morning. An hour later, I was awake, so I almost got there. Yes, it's the first day of spring. The first full day of spring, of course, is tomorrow, but spring is upon us. Going to feel spring-like. In other words, unsettled. We get a little bit of everything. No 2 days are going to be exactly alike. Tomorrow's going to be different from today. Saturday will be different from Friday. Sunday's weather will be different from Saturday. On down the line, a considerable warm-up by the mid part of next week, but we got to get there first, and we have a lot of weather to talk about. Some snow, some significant snow in the mountain passes. Snow level is going to be hovering right slightly below pass level almost everywhere. We're looking at some periodic rain, hit and miss rain, a little windy, a little bit of everything. Rather involved weather forecast is coming up, and we'll let you know about how much snow is actually going to fall in the Cascades, especially on Stevens. If you're planning on driving US 2 Stevens Pass between now and say Saturday noon, you're going to find some snow. There's no getting around that. Those details are coming up. Plus, we have news. Sports, pretty quiet, all things considered. The Mariners won a game that didn't count. The Kraken lost a game that did count. They got shut out for the 7th time last night in Minnesota against the Wild. We will have sports. It's Thursday. Pause for pets. Let's see, Aspen the dog needs a home. We'll check in with our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. And it's the first day of spring, Bonnie Orr time. That's what that means. You know that by now if you've been watching the show over the last 9 years. That's right, the show's been on for almost 9 years now. Hard to believe I haven't been canceled yet. You know that Bonnie Orr comes in and pays us a visit on the first day of spring, the first day of summer, the first day of fall, and the first day of winter. It's your do's and don'ts gardening tips, lawn and garden care from our friend Bonnie Orr in the back half of the program. I think we're going to do cameras again. You know, we didn't do our cameras around the valley for quite some time because, well, we just didn't have them. Now we do. They're back and running again. So there you go. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. Oh, I can see my house. There's my house. Is that somebody trying to break in? No, I don't think so. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. You can see the high clouds right now. We're going to see some sunshine today, although it wasn't real warm yesterday. We only got to 42. That was it. Our normal high is 54. We'll be much closer to our normal high today, but it never quite warmed up yesterday. We had some cold air come in. It was in the upper 20s by the time this show started. We never quite got there. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley from probably our most famous and popular camera anyway. Camera number two. I don't know why I said that. Oh, I have to guess now because I keep forgetting what we're doing. Geez, boy, I haven't seen these cameras for a while. Oh boy. I'm going to say that's up Lake Wenatchee way, maybe Nanapoc Ridge or Coles Corner or something like that. There's a car on the highway. I'm going to go with that. Maybe that could even be the Blue Pass camera, actually. I think that maybe is a Blue Pass camera. I'll guess with that. There, it's a guess. I don't know. I got to get back into the swing of things on these cameras. We haven't had them for a while. Camera 3. We've had them. We just didn't have access to them. There you go. That's got to be Bear Mountain. I'm assuming that's Bear Mountain. Looking back up towards Stehekin in Holden Village with a little slice of Manson on your right. I'm assuming that's the Bear Mountain camera. Again, it's been a while since I've seen them, so you got to cut me a little bit of slack. You can see the snow continues to recede like my hairline. And camera number 4. Oh, there you go. That's got to be Hay Canyon. I want to say Hay Canyon, high above Kashmir. Good morning to Kashmir. And you can see the sun peeking up. Sunrise is right now, 7:03. Sunset tonight, 7:14. That buys us 12 hours and 11 minutes of daylight. 3 minutes and 26 seconds longer than it was yesterday from our camera high atop Hay Canyon, named after the pioneer of that area, one of the early settlers, Jerry Canyon. So I'm told. A couple of slides from the National Weather Service to show for you. First of all, snow in the mountain passes. Through today, yeah, they're going to get some. This is through the rest of the day today, probably till about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon through Thursday. So you can see really not too bad. All of the snow is going to be relegated to the Cascades and the Idaho Panhandle. Obviously, Stevens is going to get a little bit of snow. So not a lot of snowfall, all things considered, through the rest of the day today. It could switch over to a little bit of rain late in the afternoon during the warmest part of the day, but that's nothing compared to what's going to happen tonight all the way through Friday and into Saturday about noon. This is slide number 2, and as you can see, yeah, quite a bit of snow in the Cascades. You will have winter driving conditions regardless of where you go. Not too much on I-90, being a little over 3,000 feet. They're going to be okay, but Blewett's going to get some snow. Mission Ridge is going to get some snow. Stevens is going to get a lot of snow. Not too good for the commuters and the travelers, but good news for the snowpack. We want that to hang on as long as possible as spring gradually becomes summertime. So, yeah, basically the message here is if you're traveling, especially on Stevens Pass, well, you can still have your studded tires on. They don't take that off until April 1st, so you're good to go there. But in the meantime, some pretty heavy snow with round number 2 coming in on Saturday, all the way through Saturday morning until noon or so on Saturday afternoon. From the National Weather Service, here we go. A forecast that goes all over the place. Partly sunny today, lower 50s for the high, a little breezy. Chance of rain today is about 20%. It'll be sun and clouds for the most part, about 50% of each. And then the rains return. Rain tonight, about 60% chance of rain. Snow level tonight at 3,100 feet and an overnight low of about 35. Snow level tomorrow is at 3,400 feet, and we will see some rain and some clouds and a high of 54. 70% chance of precipitation on Friday. Into the weekend we go. The chance of rain goes from 70% in the day to 40% Friday night. The snow level goes down to 2,100 feet. We'll get down to about 34 for the overnight low on Friday night. Saturday, we catch a break. We'll be between systems on Saturday with a high of about 53 with lots of sunshine. So for the first weekend of spring, it's going to start real nice. Then it's going to cloud up on Saturday night with a slight chance of rain. And then Sunday, about a 50% chance of rain. Afternoon high about normal, right around 54. Snow level is going to be well above pass level by the time we get to Sunday. It'll be above 5,000 feet on Sunday. And then we start warming up. Look at the difference between the afternoon high on Sunday and Monday. 65, 69, 67. Lots of sunshine. We got some warm air, and it's kind of moist air too, which means we could even see a pop-up thunderstorm. They could develop. But in the meantime, the big story is some warm air is going to seep up from the southwest, where they're going to have a whole bunch of really warm air, and it's going to work its way up to us by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday. The real transition is going to be overnight Sunday. Look at the overnight low Sunday, 44 degrees. That's pretty warm, which is why we're going to pop off in the mid-60s by Monday. All right. Now you know what Mother Nature has in store for us. What's going on news-wise? That's next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
It's the National RV Show at the Grant County Fairgrounds in Moses Lake, March 13th to the 23rd. Check out the enormous selection of both new and used RVs, motorhomes, travel trailers, fifth wheels, with huge incentives, 0 down and no payments for 90 days. Top manufacturers are coming from across the country, like Winnebago, Holiday Rambler, Forest River, Thor, Flagstaff, Grand Design RV, and more. And enter to win $30,000 or a new RV. Get $3,000 over NADA for your trade, paid for or not. So come on down to the National RV Show at the Grant County Fairgrounds in Moses Lake, March 13th to the 23rd.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at MerryMaidsOfWenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. So relax, it's done.
As you can see, we have high clouds. We are at 36 degrees here in the big city. Lower 50s today, clouds and sun back and forth, a little bit of light rain possible. We have hit and miss showers really throughout the forecast period all the way into Sunday, with the exception of Saturday. Saturday looks high and dry. 10 minutes after the hour, a Moses Lake man has been arrested on suspicion of homicide after allegedly calling the Moses Lake Police Department and confessing to the killing of his roommate. Late in the evening of March 12th, Moses Lake police officers were dispatched to Marina Drive to investigate the death of 61-year-old Kurt R. Volkwartson of Moses Lake. Evidence gathered at the scene indicated that the cause of death may have been a possible overdose. However, police say they were later contacted by Kyler Wortham, 34-year-old resident of Moses Lake, who confessed to killing Volkwartson, who apparently was his roommate. Wortham was booked into the Grant County Jail, and detectives say they will continue to investigate the death. A 70-year-old East Wenatchee man was arrested Tuesday and had his handguns impounded for allegedly displaying them in anger inside the Grant Road Safeway. East Wenatchee Assistant Police Chief Eric Hampton said the man was trying to buy alcohol in the store shortly before 11:30 and was unhappy with the customer assistance he was receiving. He had allegedly displayed the two handguns he was wearing in concealed holsters and demanded better service. Hampton declined to name the suspect, who was contacted by police after leaving the store. He was given a criminal citation. He was charged with misdemeanor brandishing a weapon and ordered to appear in a local court. Hampton says police took the man's firearms for safekeeping until his case is resolved, and he is barred from re-entering the Safeway store. The suspect also held a concealed weapons permit, which is now under review. The W.T. Clark Pipeline Pedestrian Bridge is going to close for 17 months due to the construction of the South End Bike and Pedestrian Access Bridges project. The project, the idea of it anyway, is to improve pedestrian and bicycle access to the Apple Capital Recreational Loop Trail by providing a shared youth pathway over barriers in both Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. Construction begins next month. The demolition of the existing bridge ramp into Hale Park, that'll begin in June 4th. Also in June, that's when the Loop Trail will be closed at that point, and then across the Clark Pipeline Bridge for 17 months, and is anticipated to reopen in November of 2026. The cities of Wenatchee and East Wenatchee will host a groundbreaking ceremony on April 23rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. A 41-year-old Tenaska man is charged with a federal offense for allegedly collecting sexual images of children and then threatening them online. Acting U.S. Attorney Richard Barker this week announced charges against 41-year-old Daniel John Kraft, saying he solicited images from a minor via Snapchat, offered the victim money and drugs, and then threatened them with kidnapping. Kraft is a registered sex offender based on a 2013 conviction for solicitation of a minor. Authorities arrested him at his Tenasket home on March 5th. Kraft was arraigned last week. He is now being held in Spokane ahead of his next federal court hearing, which is scheduled for tomorrow. When Congress averted a government shutdown last week, it also boosted the pay for America's wildland firefighters. The continuing resolution to fund federal operations for the next 6 months also approved an increase in the hourly base rates for firefighters, which had awaited congressional action since 2021. The boosts in hourly pay range from 1.5% all the way up to 42%, depending on an employee's classification. The legislation also guarantees premium pay when firefighters are deployed to wildfires outside of their regular duties. State economists have released their outlook for Washington's revenue prospects over the next few years. The outlook is about $71 billion in revenue by 2027, but that's down about $500 million from the previous forecast back in November, and $1 billion less than accounted for in the state's current budget. Lawmakers need to pass the new biennial budget before their current legislative session ends, which is scheduled for April 27th. Democrats who control the legislature are expected to release their budget proposal on Monday. They're expected to offer new taxes on the state's wealthiest individuals to bring in more revenue. And the Wenatchee varsity girls softball team kicked off their 6-5 win against Ephrata with the ribbon-cutting ceremony at the brand-new softball complex. The stadium celebration was delayed to March because of a number of setbacks during the construction process. One of those setbacks was the delivery of the scoreboard, which was up and running about an hour before the ribbon cutting. Wenatchee School District Superintendent Corey Callahar shared at the event that the scoreboard is sponsored in memory of his parents. The $4.1 million softball field resolved a Title IX complaint from 2022 that alleged unequal treatment of male and female players. That's the news at quarter after the hour. Another busy day awaits the news crew in the bullpen, but they do what they do very well indeed. The news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, the NCWLIFE Evening News right here on this very TV station, 5, 6, and 10, and there's a little preview of Kraken hockey. 5, 6, and 10 is when this news will air on television. If you don't have television in the traditional sense that we grew up with, no problem. Just if you have access to the web, you're in. You can watch the news by going to our homepage right around 5 o'clock, NCWLIFE.com, right around 5 o'clock for our Facebook page, our YouTube page. We're out there. There you go. And if something out there you think needs to be newsworthy or might be newsworthy, maybe you're just curious, hey, I saw this, so this might be going on. Don't hesitate. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Guess how the Kraken did last night? Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Sports at 18 minutes after the hour. The Seattle Kraken failed to score a goal for the 7th time this season. They lost 4-0 to the Minnesota Wild last night. Philip Grubauer allowed 3 goals in the span of 1:42 in the first period, and the Kraken never challenged after that. We're not going to show you highlights because they didn't score, so what's the point? Playing in their 4th game in 6 days, Seattle outshot Minnesota 34-28, but lost in regulation for just the 2nd time in 7 games. The Kraken are now 0-11 in the 2nd game of back-to-back contests this season. The Kraken returned to the ice Saturday night in Edmonton against the Oilers. The Mariners used 2 solo home runs and a sacrifice fly to edge the Rangers 3-2 in Peoria yesterday afternoon. Jorge Polanco had his 2nd homer of the spring in the bottom of the 1st, and J.P. Crawford made it a 3-1 game in the 5th with a shot of his own. Or maybe we don't have that. We'll just assume that we don't have that. I probably forgot to put it in there. The Mariners have their final off day of spring. It's live TV. The Mariners have their final off day of spring training today, and then a pair of split squad games against the Royals and the Reds tomorrow afternoon. All right, basketball. Let's get to it. It is March Madness time. The NCAA women's basketball tournament for the locals gets underway today. The full tournament doesn't get underway until tomorrow, but they got to get their way in there. The first 4 in Chapel Hill features the 11th-seeded Washington Huskies and the Columbia Lions from the Ivy League. That game will be on ESPN2. They'll tip it off at 4 o'clock. That will be in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. All eyes on Wichita this afternoon at 1:35. Number 8 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs and the number 9 seed Georgia Bulldogs. 1:35 on TBS. I shall be watching. And the women's basketball invitation tournament begins today, and that means Gonzaga has a home game. Texas San Antonio will travel to Spokane to take on the Zags at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Plus, highlights tomorrow. Prep soccer schedule today, pretty full slate. A lot of things going on the pitch. Othello and Chelan get things going at 4 o'clock, same time for Tenasket welcoming Colville. Half hour later for Manson and Okanagan in Manson. Cashmere travels to Royal at 6 o'clock. Davis will be at Quincy at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock tonight, Moses Lake welcomes Ephrata to town. That's a short little trip for Ephrata, and Cascade and Eastmont will do battle at Wildcat Stadium at 7 o'clock tonight. Prep baseball, pretty light. Just single games. Okanagan will be at Manson at 4 o'clock, 4:30. Sultan will be at Cascade, and Lake Roosevelt and Brewster will also do battle at 4:30 in prep baseball. Prep softball schedule, a lot of double headers today. Quincy travels to Keona Benton for the first pitch of the first game. That'll be at 3 o'clock. 3:30 first pitch, first game for Tenasket at Omak. Ellisburg travels to Wenatchee's new field in a doubleheader. The Bulldogs and the Panthers, first pitch of the first game at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Sultan and Cascade in Leavenworth at 4:30 this afternoon. Also at 4:30, it's Brewster and Lake Roosevelt, and Waterville Mansfield travels to Bridgeport in prep softball at 4:30. You can't forget about Bighorns basketball. They are back tonight. Our second broadcast of the season, the Vancouver Volcanoes will take on the Wenatchee Valley Bighorns, or the Wenatchee Bighorns tonight at the W.B. Smith Gymnasium on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. Pre-game at 6:45, tip-off at 7 o'clock. Jamie Council with the interviews, Grant Olson with the play-by-play. Bighorns basketball tonight. If you can't make it, you can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, and NCWLIFE.com. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 22 minutes after the hour, if you live in Tunisia, happy Independence Day. Tunisia told the French to take a hike on this date. I can't remember the year, but the French really did a number on Tunisia, by the way. It's International Day of Happiness. It's World Storytelling Day. It's Proposal Day. It's National Farm Rescuer Day. This is a traditional day when volunteers will go out and help farmers plant their crops for the upcoming growing season. Absolutely Incredible Kid Day. Never had that when I was a kid. Of course, I wasn't much of a kid. National Kiss Your Fiancé Day today. I'm assuming if you're engaged to be married, you're probably doing that more than once. National Macaroon Day. National Snowman Burning Day. I'm not making this up. Won't You Be My Neighbor Day. We'll get to that in just a little bit. It's Companies That Care Day. It's Hufflepuff Pride Day for you Harry Potter fans. It's French Language Day. I don't speak French, but I do eat ravioli, and I like it. It's National Ravioli Day today. It's a handy dish. It can be made any number of ways. You can bake it. You can deep fry it. You can do about anything with it with ravioli. Of course, just about every freezer section in every grocery store has those big bags of ravioli, so you don't even have to make it yourself. But who's kidding who? Handmade ravioli is the way to go. And ravioli, of course, is very versatile because you can put almost anything in it. The filling varies according to the area where they're fixed. In Rome, typical ravioli is made with ricotta cheese, spinach, as you see there, nutmeg, and black pepper. In Sardinia, ravioli is filled with ricotta cheese and grated lemon rinds. Toasted ravioli, which is really good, goes back to the Italian neighborhood in St. Louis known as simply The Hill, which is where Joe Garagiola and Yogi Berra grew up as best friends. He loved, Yogi did, toasted ravioli. The first canned ravioli, not surprisingly, the Italian Army got the first canned ravioli. That was during World War I. Canned ravioli here in our country was popularized in the 1930s by Chef Boyardee. Yes, frozen ravioli in the big plastic bag in the grocery store is simple and easy to make, but who's kidding who? If you have the time and the wherewithal and the equipment, make ravioli fresh at home. The only way to go. 24 minutes after the hour today in history. Well, he escaped from Elba. Napoleon did. He didn't really escape. Nobody lifted much of a finger. But Napoleon, on this date in 1815, 210 years ago today, Napoleon enters Paris with his regular army who came with him from Elba, about 140,000 of them, and a volunteer force of about 200,000. So he had about 340,000 men ready to take control of continental Europe again, but they all knew that Napoleon was coming back, a hard secret to keep. And so the powers of the Congress at Vienna declared him an outlaw, and the four countries got together. And these four countries didn't much care for each other, but they really didn't like Napoleon. So Austria, Prussia, Russia, and the United Kingdom, the four powers, got together, had a meeting, said, if each of our four countries each put up 150,000 men into the field to take on Napoleon, we'll win because we'll outnumber him. We'll have 700,000 men. He'll have 340,000 men. I think we have a better chance of winning. And, of course, they did. The 100 Days rule of Napoleon began on this date in 1815, and I think we all know how it ended. March 20th, 1915, 110 years ago today, Albert Einstein publishes that, his general theory of relativity. But, was he wrong? I don't know. But anyway, he was published on this date 110 years ago today. In 1960, when the New York Mets were born, when the National League granted an expansion franchise to be called the New York Metropolitans, the only problem is they didn't have a place to play. There were two stadiums in New York, baseball stadiums. One was the Polo Grounds, the old home of the Giants, and the other, of course, the iconic Yankee Stadium. Around this date in 1961, the Yankees made it quite clear that they will not allow the new National League expansion franchise in New York City to use their own ballpark, Yankee Stadium. So basically, the Mets were backed into a corner. The Mets had one decision and one decision only, and that was, I guess we're going to use the Polo Grounds. It's the only option that we have. The New York Mets would begin play the next year in 1962 in the Polo Grounds, which was, of course, a temporary fix. But the Yankees said, sorry, it's Yankee Stadium, can't play here. And speaking of baseball, March 20th, 1989, 36 years ago today, the very next day, March 21st, Sports Illustrated was set to publish their cover story and a deep and long investigative report on Pete Rose. They sent Commissioner Peter Ueberroth an advanced copy to get his reaction to what they were going to print in the next week's edition of Sports Illustrated, and he was backed into the corner, and Ueberroth announced that he had, in fact, been investigating the behavior of Cincinnati Reds manager Pete Rose. He didn't identify the actual allegations against Rose, but we all know what it was, because the next day, when Sports Illustrated hit the newsstands, everybody read that Pete Rose may, in fact, have been gambling on baseball. It was public now, 36 years ago today. And March 20th, 2003, 22 years ago today, here we go. The United States, the United Kingdom, Austria, and Poland began an invasion of Iraq. George W. Bush tried to get as many countries as possible on board like they did, 10 years ago with the first Iraq war, but he had a hard time getting volunteers. So it was 130,000 American soldiers, 45,000 British soldiers, 2,000 Australian soldiers, and 194 soldiers from the Polish Army. Of course, President George W. Bush said we wanted to find the weapons of mass destruction under the control of Saddam Hussein, and they also wanted to free the Iraqi people. Of course, Hans Blix and the UN went in to Iraq and looked all over the place. They couldn't find any WMDs, but it didn't matter. We're going in anyway. And by the way, in case you forgot, we won. The second Iraq War opened on this date in 2003. One birthday, Fred McFeely Rogers would have been 97 years old today. That's right, his middle name was McFeely. Fred Rogers, born in the state in 1928. Remember I told you during the obscure holiday, it's Won't You Be My Neighbor Day. Fun facts about Fred Rogers. He was colorblind. He could see neither red nor green. He swam every morning. He didn't smoke. He didn't drink. He was a vegetarian on ethical grounds. He said, I'm not going to eat anything that had a mother. His office at WQED in Pittsburgh, that's where the show was taped, public television in Pittsburgh. His office at WQED did not have a desk. He said desks are a barrier between good conversation and creativity. His office only had sofas and armchairs and coffee tables. He didn't like to work behind a desk. He said, I'm not a desk kind of person. If you ever watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, as I did when I was a little bitty kid, he fed his fish during the episodes. They were named Fennel and Frida, bet you didn't know that. And of course, the two great quotes from Fred Rogers. One of the greatest gifts you can give anybody is to be yourself, your honest self. And quote number two, Kids can spot a phony a mile away. The legendary Fred Rogers, born in the state in 1928. Won't you be my neighbor? For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. The Cash for Clunkers program, last I checked, is still underway. So if your HVAC system, the actual guts that circulates the air, heats your home in the winter, cools your home in the summer, if it's not working as good as it should be, maybe it's time for a whole new system. Talk to Alpine Air. They are the experts. They've been in business a long time. You don't stay in business a long time unless you know what you're doing. Mike McNulty has got an opinion coming up about Elon Musk. We'll talk the do's and don'ts of spring gardening and some of the things you can do right now because it's the first day of spring. Bonnie Orr will be joining me right around the corner. But first of all, Aspen the dog needs a home. It's Paws for Pets.
Hi, my name's Corley with Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, Animal Care Manager. And today I have a really special guest. This is Aspen, and she is our beautiful girl. We think that she is a Husky mix with possibly a Doggo Argentino, which is a really cool kind of dog. Yeah, we think so. She came to us in mid-January as an owner surrender, and so they did give us that bit of information. They also told us that she did amazing with their 2 small kids who are under 10, so we do know that bit of info. She's also one of our playgroup rock stars. She is so good with other dogs that we find ourselves using her services more and more to learn about other dogs and to get them used to living here. She's kind of the dog welcoming committee. Yeah, she speaks dog very well. And she speaks people really well. Like right now, she's telling me just how much she loves this. She loves being pet. She is a snuggle bug. She just wants to be with you. She's got a really nice mellow energy. Yeah, but she's also playful. So it's a really nice mix. I could definitely see her lying on a couch or playing with a stuffed animal. Really good balanced dog. When she came to us, she was pretty scared. She was a fearful girl, so we put her in our Heroic Hound program where she learned to be brave, and she really blossomed. She's now comes right up to people here. She's a volunteer favorite. She goes for lots of walks. She's just really curious about the world and just a lot more trusting since we've had her. She's really good at sitting. She does that one almost without prompting when she sees you have a treat. She's really good at that. And I think she could learn some more stuff because she's really treat motivated and she pays really close attention to what you're doing. So those are really good signs. Hi. And she really wants to please. Yes, a good girl. Unfortunately, we don't know about cats because her previous home didn't have any. We don't, do that here. So we don't know about that, but dogs are good and kids are good. So if you'd like to come and meet our beautiful girl, we are open from 12:30 to 6, Thursday through Tuesday. And you can also come in Wednesdays if you just make an appointment online. We would love to introduce you.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
It's time for the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, a presentation of Blueberry Hills. The Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center is now enrolling students for their Spring Break Adventure Camps. They start on April 7th. Craftopia Camp features painting and creating original crafts inspired by artifacts at the museum. Robotics Camp teaches the basics of robotics using hands-on experiments, simulations, and challenges. First and second grade students will have half-day camps. Older students will have full-day camps.
Welcome to Boswell's, where you'll find quality furnishings for every room in your home. Customers ask, do you have solid wood options? Yes, they do. Bamboo, maple, acacia, cherry, mahogany. With 2 floors of quality furniture and complimentary design services, Boswell's design team can create a home that's uniquely yours. For almost a century, people have chosen Boswell's for their quality and customer service. Boswell's Furniture, it's closer than you think.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, located in East Wenatchee, offers terrific views and challenging play for golfers at every skill level. From the golf course to the grill, you don't need to be a member to dine in style and play golf too. Highlander's well-groomed fairways and greens keep it difficult, yet friendly for your regular rounds of golf or a new destination for you and your out-of-town friends. Contact the Highlander Pro Shop today to schedule your tee time, outing, or tournament. Open 7 days a week, where everyone is welcome to play and eat.
Welcome to the Gilded Lily home, where something extraordinary is waiting for you. The Gilded Lily offers a unique collection of hand-selected, carefully curated items to help you celebrate all of life's special moments. From the budding chef to the home decorator to that very special occasion, there is an abundance of delightful gifts waiting for you. The Gilded Lily home, where you can step in for inspiration and leave with beautiful items to brighten any area of your home.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, just because I support a particular politician does not mean I have to jump to their defense if they or one of their associates does something wrong. For example, this Elon Musk recent flinging a Nazi salute. Now, any rational person would recognize this as a horrible thing. I mean, come on. In Germany, he would have been arrested. But a number of our current president's supporters have frantically searched the net to find pictures of Democrats waving, hailing a cab, or trying to get a waiter's attention and saying, look, it's the same thing. So why are they picking on poor First Buddy, as Musk has anointed himself? You know, I don't care who I support. If I can't admit it, when someone I like or someone connected with them does something they shouldn't do, you have every right to question my integrity, as I do yours. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
NCWLIFE's news team is keeping an eye on North Central Washington. Join us each weekday evening at 5, 6, and 10 for the NCWLIFE Evening News, with interviews, in-depth reporting, and the kind of insights you can't find anywhere else. We're the hometown news station for the Wenatchee Valley, the Cascade Foothills, and up and down the Columbia River. Thanks for watching NCWLIFE, proud to be part of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at MerryMaidsOfWenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. So relax, it's done.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
Welcome back to the program. If it's an equinox or a solstice, meaning vernal or whatever the case may be, it's time to visit with Bonnie Orr. Do it 4 times a year. The vernal equinox, formerly the first day of spring. The vernal equinox itself is at 2:01 on Thursday morning, the 20th. Now, we don't do a program at 2:01 on Thursday mornings. Because we're not idiots. But it is that time of the year. Winter is in our rearview mirror. Spring is upon us, and Bonnie is here to tell you what you need to know as we make that transition to your favorite time of the year, spring. You've made that quite clear. Spring is your favorite because that's when things just start happening.
That's right. Yes, indeed.
We always start these segments with a recap of the previous 3 months, in this case, December, January, and February. December, for the Wenatchee Valley, slightly warmer and slightly wetter than normal. We did have quite a bit of rain, including on December 17th. We had almost a half an inch of rain on December 17th. Warmer and wetter.
Whatever that means.
There you go.
But we still ended up with less precipitation for the year.
Yes, we did. We never get caught up to where we should have been.
Yeah.
Even though we did have a wet December. January, slightly below normal temperatures, below normal precipitation for the most part.
Oh, it was so dry in January. Yeah.
It was, and we had a long stretch of nothing, no precipitation at all. Yeah, crazy. And then February, slightly cooler, slightly wetter. We had a long period of about 2.5 weeks when we never got to our normal high temperature. And then at the very end of February, remember we had that big warm up that came out of nowhere. Did that jumpstart a few plants here and there? Go, oh, it must be time to go.
No, because the soil is still cold. This morning, my soil, because you know I measure my soil. Of course. My crocus are blooming, and so my soil is 41. That's when the crocus bloom.
Do people, and we talk about this.
Has nothing to do with air temperature.
We talk about this every year, but we have a nice stretch of warm weather. Next week is supposed to be in the lower 60s. And people just go crazy. It's time to bust out and get rid of the winter doldrums and go out and do stuff to your yard.
And people do really crazy things.
Such
as buying bare root plants at the big box stores and things like this. It is not time to garden till the end of April. It really isn't, you know. But people do get into a rush about it. The things you can do right now is make sure that you're protecting your fruit trees with a delayed dormant. Probably for sure. I mean, that makes you have better quality fruit. And the other thing is that it's time to treat your lawn if you choose to do a crabgrass preventer.
I did not. I have an oak tree in my front yard. I think you know that by now. I didn't do a damn thing this year. I let the twigs and the leaves fall, never touched them, never raked them. I don't seem to have done a great deal of damage to my yard. Didn't have a lot of leaves come down to begin with. Do I need to do that? Do I need to rake?
It's been windy. I don't think you have any left.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thatching. There's usually
it's a time to thatch, time to treat. You know, people say my lawn is so spongy. Well, that's a good sign that you need to thatch.
Okay, so I thatched, we talked about this before. I thatched my yard, I think for the first time maybe it had ever been thatched. And I brought up 6 or 7, I think it was half a dozen big garbage bags full of thatch. I couldn't believe there was that much there.
People are horrified when they see it, yeah. But you know what? When my neighbors thatch, I always gather it because I use it for mulch.
Yeah. How is your mulch pile going, by the way?
My mulch pile is fine. My compost pile is very slow right now, but everybody's still alive.
Do you do a lot of composting and mulching in the cold winter months? You got to go out and stir it every once in a while. But do you really need to?
I never store. I never stirred.
Okay.
Okay. I just keep adding more dry material and a minimum of wet. I pour off any extra water from my vegetable scraps and things. Otherwise,
I mentioned oak trees. There's a number of oak trees, fairly young, across the street at Wenatchee City Hall. I'm not going to mention the name of the landscaping company because I told Roy so I wasn't going to mention their name. They were out trimming, doing the pruning and the trimming the last week. Too early, maybe?
I have no comment.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Just thought I'd bring that up. I don't know what's going on there. Fertilizer.
Okay.
Don't be stupid. We talk about this every year, and people still insist on doing dumb stuff. Basically overdoing it.
Okay, so this week they're going to get excited because it's going to be warm, so they're going to put on fertilizer. But the trouble is that the soil is not warm, and the grass only grows when the soil is warm. It has to be 50 degrees. So we're putting this stuff on, it's not going to work. And if you water it in or we get some rain, it'll wash it away. So wait till the grass starts to grow.
And most people, if you're going to water this time of the year, and you shouldn't be anyway, you're using domestic water because the ditches aren't on.
Right.
Yeah, so that's just silly. I guess the number one thing, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, is just don't rush into things. Just because the weather gets nice
for a week
doesn't mean you go out and start doing this stuff.
That's right, and it all has to do with soil temperature. It truly does. You know, people just want to plant now, and some people have already started their tomato plants. You essentially cannot put out tomato plants until May, you know, at the earliest. I never put my tomato plants out until June, the beginning of June. And you know how I know the soil is warm enough for tomato plants? You know how there's always a few leftover tomatoes that get left on the ground, especially cherry tomatoes? When those germinate at the beginning of June, I know the soil's warm enough for tomatoes.
Well, that's simple enough.
I know, isn't that easy?
That's a great rule of thumb. What about starting stuff inside and then moving them outside when the soil and the air temperature is warm enough?
Yes, okay. But if you start them now, okay, they're going to get pretty and if they get leggy, they never recover.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you cannot rush the season. I have started herb plants. I've started parsleys and basil and sweet marjoram because they take a long time to come up.
That has really taken off. I was watching something over the weekend because the prices, here's a big surprise. The prices of something have gone up. The prices of herbs and spices have gone just crazy lately, the last couple of years. You go to the grocery store, the spice rack section, and the stuff the staples that everybody normally has, whether be it McCormick's or whatever.
Yeah,
the prices of spices have gone crazy.
Well, and they are particularly going to change, in my opinion, because of tariff changes. Because almost all of our spices are grown in other places.
Yeah, cumin. I don't think there's any cumin that's grown in North America and some others.
Well, cumin is coriander.
Okay, yeah.
Is cilantro.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so, but we have a hard time growing cilantro. We can grow it in the fall. We can't grow it in the spring or the summer.
Makes perfect sense to me. Roses. This is very important because roses are usually first one out of the gate.
Yes, and I think their leaves are starting to emerge, so probably you need to clean up your roses maybe this weekend.
Okay, get on that, folks. Protect fruit trees. Now, I don't have any, and most people I know who have a backyard lone fruit tree, they've gotten rid of it because they don't want to have to go through all the stuff that they have to do to maintain it. You know, they have to spray it and they have to do all that stuff just to grow apricots and peaches and a couple of cherries here and there.
And last year nature took care of that for us. There were no peaches, nectarines, plums because of that very, very cold weather, right when everything was blooming. So there was no fruit last year, and soft fruit. You know, that was really, I thought that was very interesting. But your cherries and your apples have to be protected. And you also want to have that dormant spray on this week, which is an oil. Okay, because what happens is it smothers overwintering bad guys and different types of diseases. Because in the middle of summer, all of a sudden you have a peach that's misshapen or has pits in it and all sorts of things. Well, that's because you didn't take care of it.
If your lawn was shaggy before winter came, which means it's really shaggy now, is it okay to go out and mow the lawn even though,
Depends on how wet your lawn is.
Well, let's assume it's dry because it's dry almost everywhere.
Okay.
Lay off on it for a little bit, maybe? Yeah?
I don't know, do you have anything else to do in your life?
I'm a busy man.
There you go.
You know, I got TV Guide in the mail yesterday. I got to circle all the deal. Oh, when's the next time we're going to have a good tomato year? We've talked about this. The tomato growers have been pulling their hair out for, what, 4 or 5 years now? It's been a long time.
Well, the problem is that tomatoes are probably one of the most fussy things. They like it above 60 and below 85.
And we've had unbelievably hot. I mean, July was like one of the hottest ever.
Okay, so our tomatoes all came on in September because what happens is that the pollen from the flower dries up before it can fertilize the fruit, and so we don't have any set.
60 to 85, and we've had summer days. We had stretches of them last July and into early August, where the overnight low was 85 or 80 degrees. I mean,
but we also, the year before, our August nights were in the 50s. So the tomatoes were really uncomfortable. Yeah.
Is there a guaranteed way to grow tomatoes every year to get a good batch if you're going to grow them outside?
Is there any guarantee for anything you grow?
Geez.
No.
We're going to get very philosophical here.
I mean, really, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, what you do is you just do the best you can. I think the least sensitive tomatoes are those cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
Okay.
I mentioned I didn't rake my lawn this year, even though there's not a lot of leaves left. There's some patches of it. If I rake it, am I going to find buggy fuzzies underneath it that I don't want to damage or anything like that? Underneath it, we're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
How are things at the Chelan Douglas Master Gardeners?
You know something? We are now meeting at the library in the basement room. It's really a nice new place.
Yeah, the old basement room is just...
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Now what they've done is beautiful.
Monday from 1 to 4.
Okay.
And then the Master Gardeners also are able to, you know, you can communicate with us by email, and on Thursdays the Master Gardeners get together on Zoom and prepare to answer all those questions.
Cool. Is that something we can download? Is that something we can look at on the website, or is it posted on YouTube or something like that?
No, I think you can. Okay, so the Master Gardeners get together on Thursday morning, divide up the questions, and then somebody gets back to the person who's asked the question.
Okay. You guys are very rarely stumped, though, are you? I mean, you guys are pretty good at
We've had a couple. We have had some stumps.
Yeah.
Okay, but there are sources all over the country because every single state has an extension service, and every single state has Master Gardeners.
Do people, when they get a hold of the Chelan Douglas Master Gardeners, Chelan Douglas Master Gardeners, that's plural, @gmail.com, do they ever get a hold of you just for advice? I mean, not this is a problem, what do I do to fix it? Do they get a hold of you for any other reason? Like, what do you recommend? Or what do you think would go good this year?
Yes, and I tell them, I know nothing about you. No, I mean, you know, everybody has their own ideas of what they want to grow. In fact, today I'm going to speak with the Cascade Garden Club in Leavenworth, and you know, they asked me about what kind of things can bloom. I'm going, what do you like?
Best advice I got from Bonnie Orr years and years ago during Green Thumbs and Dirty Knees: and don't grow any vegetables unless you plan on eating them.
That's right.
That made perfect sense to me.
I know. It's really interesting.
If you don't like rutabaga,
that's right. That's right.
You know, what's the point there? What else is on your mind?
Okay, you know, I am just such a proponent of mulch.
Yes, you are. You've made that quite clear.
Very often. Okay, so one of the ways you can protect your garden is by using mulch to keep the roots cool. Okay, you also don't have to weed. I never weed my garden because I use grass clippings, and I use leaves, ground up leaves.
You mentioned weeding.
3 inches or 4 inches.
Mention weeding.
Yeah. What do you want to know? What do you want to do?
I don't like doing it.
Well, you know, I haven't even started. Yeah. I only weed in the early spring and in the late fall.
That's the only time you ever have to.
Yeah.
That's good news. That's good news.
But anyway, and weeding can be very relaxing. You can go out with a cup of coffee in the morning.
True. Or a glass of wine in the afternoon.
Why not?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You know?
One last thing, we'll cut you loose. We're going to do another interview with the good folks who are helping put on Arbor Day.
Yes.
The activities this year are April 12th, Cashmere, East Wenatchee City Hall, and this year a new location, the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center.
That's right.
Here in the big city.
That's right. That's going to be the Wenatchee location.
Right.
And just for a heads up, the committee tries to choose things which are appropriate. And so flowering things, red currant, which has beautiful red flowers, lilac, blue elderberry, and those three things also attract all sorts of pollinators, and they also provide food for birds.
How did you birds do this winter, by the way?
Very. I had almost no birds. In fact, I had. Okay.
They love your place.
I know, but on January 1st, I always do a survey at my house. Usually, I have 30 to 32 species. This year, I had 12.
Really?
Because there's no snow. So the birds can be out anywhere feeding.
Yeah,
they don't have to be congregated around a feeder. I want to finish with the two trees.
Please,
two trees. The thin leaf alder and the mountain ash.
Okay.
Okay. Again, things that are appropriate for our area, appropriate for our size of our lots, and provide shelter for birds and other animals.
We love our birds.
We love our birds.
We love our animals, and we love our gardening. Bonnie Orr. Again, any questions, any concerns, Chelan Douglas Master Gardeners.gmail. Thanks for writing that down because we messed that up. Have a great spring. Happy gardening.
I plan to have a happy spring.
Absolutely. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese splints, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Looking at the Stevens Pass camera at the Big Windy location, pretty close to the summit of Stevens Pass. It's snowing pretty hard up there, and you can't see the roadway, even though traction tires are just advised. I don't know why. I mean, I wouldn't drive on Stevens Pass without snow tires right now. It may be spring officially here everywhere, quite frankly, in the Northern Hemisphere, but it's definitely still winter up in the Cascades. 2 rounds of snow. First one today, second round over the weekend. And let's replay the slides that we showed from you at the start of the hour. This is the snow through the rest of the morning today into the early afternoon hours. Again, quite a bit of snow, but not a lot compared to what they're in for. The heaviest snow is going to be actually north of Stevens Pass, where there isn't really a pass. But in the Mid-Howell Valley, you're going to get a little bit of snow as well. But this is the snow totals through the rest of the day today, basically into the early afternoon hours. Then they catch a break, and then system number 2 begins in the wee small hours tonight through Saturday morning, and this one is packing more punch. As you can see, 18 inches, even more than that on Stevens Pass. So Quality Pass isn't going to get a lot of snow. Neither is Blewett. The snow level is going to be down quite a bit, right around 3,300 feet to around 2,100 feet Friday night into Saturday morning. That means even the foothills around the Wenatchee Valley could get a little dusting of snow on Friday night into early Saturday morning, but most of the snow is going to be relegated to the mountain passes, especially Stevens Pass. Again, it'll start on Friday afternoon in the evening hours, and it'll be coming down at a pretty good clip. Luckily, in the wee small hours of Saturday morning, when not a lot of people are on the mountain passes. So lots of snow, good for the snowpack anyway, coming into the mountain passes over the weekend. From the National Weather Service, a mixture of clouds and sun. I think the clouds will probably get the upper hand on this one, 51 for the afternoon high. A chance of rain, light rain here and there is a possibility. Chance of rain goes up to 60% tonight. Overnight low of about 36. Snow level is going to hover right around 3,100 feet. Friday, once we get to Friday afternoon, here comes the next system that's going to bring all that snow to the Cascades. Some rain here, 70% chance of rain Friday afternoon, right on into Friday night. Saturday, we catch a break, and then the last of all of these very active systems rolls through on Saturday night into Sunday, and then we have a significant warm-up by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Tuesday next week looks beautiful. That's it for us. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.